As moms, we often wonder, am I doing enough for my kids? I'm here to tell you, you are super mama. That's because we have an undeniable superpower, our intuition, and it never steers us wrong. I call it our mom sense. Hi, I'm Kanika Chedda Gupta, and I'm the host of That's Total Mom Sense. I'm a journalist, entrepreneur, wife, and mom of 3, twins plus 1. Now, if I had $1 every time I heard, gee, you have your hands full. On my podcast, I interview influential moms from various industries and cover topics that all first-time parents grapple with, from getting your baby to sleep to screen time allowance, your new normal in your marriage, and how to dedicate time to yourself. Learn and laugh along with That's Total Mom Sense. We grew up in a generation where we enjoyed baking and cooking with our parents, but many of us opted for the shortcuts that were being advertised, like store-bought pre-made cookie dough or cupcake batter in a bag that was loaded with artificial flavors, dyes, and preservatives. Luckily, we are now hyper aware of the nutrition facts and ingredient lists and have shifted to becoming more mindful of what we eat and what we're feeding our kids. Foodstirs is an American cooking and lifestyle company that produces baking kits, mixes, and grab-and-go sweet snacks for sale online, by subscription, and in select stores like Whole Foods. All products are organic, non-GMO ingredients and are intended to be kid-friendly to prepare. Foodstirs Junk-Free Bakery was founded by Galit Laibow, Greg Fleishman, and Sarah Michelle Gellar in Santa Monica, California in 2014. Galit first came up with the idea and showed her baking kits to other parents, including Sarah Michelle, at her children's school, which spurred her to become a co-founder. The two then presented the idea to Greg, which encouraged him to join as a co-founder, president, and co-CEO. Over the years, Galit and the team have increased Foodstirs sales by more than 10 times and have successfully landed the brand USDA Organic baking mixes in more than 7,500 natural, conventional, and big box retailers across the US. They say if you can't pronounce it, we're not making it, because the only place for junk is in a drawer. When ingredients are awesome and steps are simple, we can create sweet experiences. Together, we can all be Foodstirs. Today, I am joined by Galit Laibow. Galit, welcome to That's Total Mom Sense.
Thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
Absolutely. I know your co-founders and co-CEOs can't join us today, but so glad to be chatting with you because you're where it all started. So could you briefly tell us about your career prior to launching Foodstirs?
Sure. It started in actually public relations, started with celebrity public relations. So publicizing, those A-list celebrities all over the world, whether it's a movie or a sponsorship deal they had, and then leveraged that and that network into starting my own public relations firm that I co-founded with another woman many years ago. And we focused on products, marketing products, bringing campaigns to life and taking, very small at the time, very small products and spreading the word. And I think that's what gave me the most joy, is having, watching these entrepreneurs and watching them through their journey and having a part in helping their success.
So Greg spent the majority of his 20-plus year career in the natural food and beverage industry. He has an extensive track record and has worked with leading brands including Kellogg's, Coke, and Kashi, and has launched more than 3,500 consumer products across 17 different categories in 12 countries. And we all know and love Sarah Michelle. We watched her grow up in front of us on screen. She was recognized as one of the greatest female characters in US TV for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, for which she won 5 Teen Choice Awards and a Golden Globe nomination. And other film credits include Cruel Intentions, The Grudge, and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Scooby-Doo, where she co-starred with her husband, actor Freddie Prinze Jr. Tell us about the dynamic with Sarah Michelle and Greg.
Yeah, I think, always having co-founders and other people when you're working as a team can be challenging. But I think that the great thing about Sarah, Greg, and I is we love dividing and conquering. So we all know what each of our strengths are, and we really give each other the space to kind of do what we do best. And the key to any strong partnership is communication.
Sure. And can you kind of break down what each of you focuses on?
So Greg and I share the co-CEO role. We are able to lead the business and focus on specific areas. So Greg takes on more of the sales, ops, and finance, and I focus more on the marketing and innovation. And Sarah is the chief creative officer, helping with the marketing and content and social and that awesome stuff that helps build the brand awareness. And of course, leveraging her celebrity for PR, spreading the word, and to create some awesome brand awareness and brand partnerships.
Back in the day, we grew up with treats like Little Debbie and Entenmann's, and we were just none the wiser. But now, we're just way more conscious of what we're putting in our bodies. Have you always been kind of a healthy eater? Did you grow up on that stuff too, and then realize, I'm not going to feed this stuff to my kids?
Yes, absolutely. I would joke my house was the fun house. Everybody would come to my house because we had the Doritos and the Hostess and all the goodies, right? Do you remember like the ding dongs? This is with the wrapped in foil, and that's what sparked obviously the latest product line that we launched, which is junk-free sweet snacks, which are the mini donuts and brownies and muffins. Because now that we're more conscious about what we're putting in our body and those ingredients, I definitely would not want to try not to give those to my kids.
Yeah, exactly. Well, tell us about that aha moment that you had when you came up with this idea and brand that it is today.
Originally the moment was just being a busy parent and realizing that my kids are going to grow up really fast. We have these things called cell phones and iPads and computers, and kind of watching them on those devices a lot, and just even ourselves, right? I mean, we're always on our phones and computers, and just worrying about what, we need to start looking at each other, start talking, and afraid that we were going to miss those moments together. And what better way than actually doing something in the kitchen? As you know, food brings people together. So baking at the time is very therapeutic. I don't know if you've ever baked something from scratch or from a box. It's just fun, and it relieves some stress. And even if it's 25 minutes, and if you get your kids involved, it's, we definitely felt like there was a need in the marketplace for something more indulgent. Everyone's focusing on the meal kits and the meals, and that was kind of already done with the Blue Aprons of the world and HelloFresh. But nobody was really focusing on desserts and sweet indulgences that are better. And who doesn't? I don't know of anybody that doesn't want a treat. And if it's healthy, definitely wants to go for it.
You really have everyone's sweet tooth covered because there are mixes and ready-made products. So tell us about all of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, Foodstirs is really about creating better food experiences for everyone, whether you make it yourself or we make it for you. We have our subscription kits, which are all-inclusive projects. If you look at a Pinterest project, so we have pancake art or out of this world donut, and it comes with all the supplies and then the mixes that we create. And we actually sell the mixes at retail. So it comes with those mixes and all the supplies. And you can get a bi-monthly subscription, or you can get a one-off kit. And we're finding that, like you said, people love it for vacation. You have that time off, or they're great gifts. I mean, they make awesome gifts, when you don't want to give that toy again. And then we have our mixes. So think of, your cookie mix, brownie mix. We have a snickerdoodle mix. We have, traditional baking mixes, which are 6 steps or less, take 25 minutes and only a few ingredients. So it's not like you get this mix and it's all these crazy ingredients you have to add. They're usually butter, eggs, a little bit of oil. We have substitutions. They're all vegan based. So we have vegan plant-based recipes to make them vegan. Really, really delicious. And our whole platform is lower sugar. So all of our mixes are 25% less sugar than your traditional baking mix that is on the shelf. So all of our baking mixes, like the rest of the line, is organic, non-GMO, directly sourced ingredients, fairly traded cocoa. So you're really getting the best for yourself and the best for the planet. And then we just launched, which we're super excited about, which we touched upon, is our sweet snacks line. So this is our grab and go mini donuts, powdered donuts, mini muffins, chocolate chip muffins, blueberry muffins, and mini brownie bites. So perfect for the lunchbox. 2 grams of sugar per treat. You're getting a super low sugar, even higher fiber snack, and that you don't have to feel bad about giving your kids.
Yeah, sure. What has it been like since, it was an idea to launch to now fundraising?
You got, 2 women who don't have a lot of experience in the space trying to pitch a lot of men, right?
Mm-hmm,
About
mm-hmm.
baking products. So
Right.
I think that, over the journey, we have some amazing investors over the years that we joke, we have a list of, 150, 200 no's over the years. So you definitely have to be resilient and you
Mm-hmm.
really can't be afraid to fail.
Yeah, that's really, really great advice. And what do your kids actually like making with you the most?
When it comes down to it, I think they really just like, what they do the most are just the baking mixes. They love making chocolate chip cookies with their friends or brownies because it's so easy. They do it themselves.
Exactly, exactly. How has parenthood changed you?
You look at life differently. I think it's taught me more about patience. That's for sure. And
Mhm.
I think if you really look back, it's really taught me as a person, as a woman, how strong I really am. I think for a lot of parents, the balancing act is really hard, and I think that we always get like work life balance, and I don't believe that there's true work life balance. I think you just every day is a different day, and you pick the things that you can do, on
Mhm.
that day, and you move on. But you realize you are in a sense a superhero in some ways, and when you can get up and work a 9 to 5 job, and work really hard. And during that job, you're making appointments for your kids and you're scheduling doctors and, there might be some issues at school and you're dealing with that. And then you come home and you have dinner and you make sure, the homework's done and you put them to bed and then you start answering your emails or you start finishing more of your day and you look back and you're like, wow, like this job is not for the weak.
Right. Yeah.
And then you say, what the heck did I complain about in my 20s?
Yes, I know. Is there a point in time that you can share where you just trusted that mom sense of yours?
I think having as you have older kids and then you have little kids, and we just talked about that before, that when you have little kids, it's such a physical game, and then when you have older kids, it's more mental. And as they grow up, you just really hope that they'll still talk to you
Yeah.
and connect. And one of the things that I treasure, whether it's good or bad, I always lay down with my kids before they go to bed, and I feel like that's when they're let loose and they're themselves, and we just have great conversations, especially with my older one, my 11-year-old, and that's when she'll tell me about her day. And when you talk about having a sense, your children, you can tell when they're up or down or something's wrong. And we're talking about friendships and groups and what this person's going to do on this test, or this person's going to do better than me on this, or this person's better than me, and really explaining to them that it's okay to be. You have to do you. You can't compare yourself to others. You have to continue to grow internally. Like you have to do what's best for you and what keeps pushing you. You got to not think what other people are doing. You got to celebrate
Mm.
them and see them. But I think it's really dangerous to compare ourselves. And I had that conversation with my daughter, and they had to do quotes. They had to do banner quotes, and her banner quote was about that. She picked a quote that incorporated being yourself, not copying other people, being unique. So that was kind of a fun
Yeah.
moment.
That's so sweet. I mean, you really like struck a chord with her and it worked. It was, I feel like I definitely want to have those heart to hearts when my kids are older because even those just leave like these lasting memories and, they really shape who you are when you can connect with your parents in that way.
Yeah, I think for me in that moment, you don't know, you talk to your kids about things and you don't know if it's really sinking in. And then when
Hmm.
they actually do that, right? And they show, like, you're like, wow, they're actually listening to me.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. I think as a parent, that's what you want, right? That's all you want is that what you're helping them with or teaching them is actually they're actually learning and listening. So
Exactly. Exactly.
Let's not forget our quote of the day.
Is there a quote that you live by?
there's one from Steve Jobs, which is the only way to do great work is to love what you do. I think that is not only, important for yourself, but even as we grow as a business for our businesses, every single person here has to be passionate about the mission and the brand and what they do. I mean, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I think that's kind of similar. Like you're going to get the best if you really, really are passionate about what you're doing. And you just always have to find your why, right? Like your purpose, like why, say to yourself, like, why am I doing this? And is this what's making me happy? And then the other one is obviously don't be afraid to fail. I mean, that's one is you can't be afraid, right? You have to every day, you're going to have to make decisions and you're going to have to do stuff and sometimes close your eyes and pray.
It's now time for Mom Haul, when we share products we love.
Is there a product or gadget or, app that you're just like, I am just loving this right now. I want to share it with all my friends?
Well, for work, I have an app that is probably not that cool and hip, but it's this Notability app, and it allows you to literally sign papers remotely.
Cool.
So it's like a scan. You can upload a document and then kind of open the app, and then you can sign anything and then send it off, which is great. Okay. And then in terms of products, well, right now in these times, which I've always loved Honest Company and their products, but they have a hand sanitizer that smells amazing, and it's a grapefruit hand sanitizer, and we love using that. My kids have it in their backpack, and just love the smell of that one. And then the Honest lip balm is the bomb. Okay, and then there's the Peter Thomas Roth cucumber hydrogel eye patches, which every parent needs. I do the morning and night. It's just so refreshing, especially when you don't get a lot of sleep.
Yes. Oh, that's a really, really great find. So now that our mouths are watering and we all want to try all of Foodstirs' delicious products, where can we find you?
You can always find us on foodstirs.com, foodstirs.com, and you can shop right online. Or you can also look in the store locator to find a store near you that sells our baking mixes and our new ready-to-eat junk-free snack line, which is widely available at Whole Foods, like I said, Kroger, and a bunch of other retailers near you. And if you want to follow all of our founders' lives and the exciting lives that we lead every day, you can follow me at Galit Laibow. You can follow my co-founder, Greg, at Greg Fleishman. And you can follow Sarah Michelle at Sarah M. Gellar.
Awesome. Galit, thank you so much for repping Foodstirs, being on my show today. You have been super sweet, and I'm so excited to promote Foodstirs to my family and my friends and my community. It was an honor to have you on the show today.
Well, it's an honor to be here, and thank you for helping us spread the word and our sweet treats.
Given the public health situation that the world is facing, we're all adopting social distancing and are trying to make sense of our new normal. Many companies have mandated that their employees work remotely, and children's schools are closing one by one. In my opinion, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. I'm using this time to hang out with my husband and kids at home. And now we're doing a family meditation practice. We're playing board games, and we're doing a whole lot of baking, thanks to Foodstirs. It's a wholesome activity for kids of all ages to do with their parents. It gets them off their screens. And in the end, the treats are not loaded with sugar, so they're guilt-free. Foodstirs and I have teamed up to offer my listeners 30% off their products using the code MOMSENSE30. Just log on to foodstirs.com, foodstirs.com, and you're bound to find a ready-made dessert or baking kit you're going to love. They have cookies, brownies, cakes. I'm telling you, your mouth is going to be watering. Please continue to send me your emails and your thoughts to thatstotalmomsense@gmail.com. It's a really precarious situation that we're in, and we will get through this together. I hope my podcasts are a way to get you through this time and gives you a chance to hear a compelling story that inspires you and somehow makes an impact on your life and your kids. Tune in to new and past episodes by logging onto my website, thatstotalmomsense.com. And as always, more than ever, trust your mom sense. Stay strong, Supermamas. Bye.
That's total mom sense.